This week, we sit down with musical artist Tenerfuse, ridiculous headlines, and this bell. When Missing the Mark Radio starts, right now. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 34 of Missing the Mark Radio. My name is Jamie. Alongside me each and every episode are my co-hosts Shane and Chris. This week we got an interview again. I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, an
artist, which is completely the opposite of what I think we do here.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit with our crew. We mostly food
and dick jokes, and that's pretty much where we're at. So this week we sit down with musical artist Tenerfuse, our good buddy Chris Forsyth, and really discuss his entire basically path on how he got to his music career, and what led him to that, and his life as we see it now. But so conspicuous by his absence in this intro is Shane. We had to do this kind of after the fact because we were running up on our bedtimes while we recorded the episode.
The show's all backwards.
It is all backwards. So we're doing this after the fact, so we already know what the interview's about. We won't give anything away, I guess. But yeah, Shane's not here. He will be here for the rest of the podcast.
I'm holding a picture of him on my phone, so he's here in spirit.
Do you feel better about yourself?
He'll hit the bell.
This is already the second time the bell has made an appearance on the podcast. I think there's one more, right?
You needed a third thing.
During the interview? I did need a third thing.
Just helping out.
So, what else is new? Anything good?
Oh. I mean, we got like one
extra
day of summer yesterday. That was nice.
That was beautiful, actually. We kind of got it this morning, too. But then
a little bit of leftover, yeah.
Then it decided to rain and completely
back to fall now.
Ruin everything as usual.
Yeah, it was just a nice little breath of fresh, warm air. And then back to it.
So we got our annual Friendsgiving this weekend. However, the numbers are right in line with COVID in 2020. I think there may be 5 of us.
Curse you, Corona.
I know. So I guess the plan is we're going to sit around the bonfire and
play the saxophone.
No, we're not playing the saxophone.
You're not playing the saxophone.
Is Saxsquatch going to play the saxophone?
I don't have his number yet.
Can we talk about the fact that you're going to Ohio at the end of this month to go
can't.
see Saxsquatch?
It's totally not happening.
It's not happening?
No, I'm doing it.
I was going to say, it's totally happening. Oh, sorry. Am I not allowed to say this?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Who could be listening?
Who's going to listen?
The governor. I don't need...
Oh, because you have to quarantine yourself and all that?
Angry Italians at my house.
Sorry. Do I need to edit that out? Do we need to edit it out? Or?
Stick this cotton swab in your nose.
That's a great impression, actually. It's impressive. All right, so I guess, have we talked enough nonsense to start this thing off?
Start the show, man.
Start the show.
It's so good.
All right, well, let's do some plugs real quick. First, Missing the Mark Radio on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at _. And if anybody wants to sponsor us except for Subway, and this will make a lot more sense later.
And our only existing sponsor, Dirt Barbie Golf.
We can't forget that, missingthemarkradio@gmail.com. Feel free to visit our Patreon page, which I actually just finished up. I may have to do some final touches. I believe it's patreon.com/missingthemarkradio. I will confirm that at a later date after
we just sent you to a fake website.
After we just sent you to, I mean, you if you go to Patreon and search Missing the Mark Radio, you should find us. There's a few tiers on there. Feel free to drop us any suggestions that you'd like to see on that as well. So, I guess without further ado, let's just get right to our discussion/interview with our good friend Chris Forsyth, otherwise known as Tenerfuse.
It's now time for this week's Missing the Mark Radio interview.
All right, let's welcome our guest at this time, Chris Forsyth, otherwise known as Tenerfuse. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
Are you sure, though? Are you really sure after, the stuff that hasn't been recorded so far, are you really sure you want to do this still?
Which was pure gold.
Yeah, it's it's a little concerning.
I would say
goes
it's
on behind the scenes, but
I would say it's a
continue.
lot concerning. I mean, Chris is already losing his shirt.
Having a great time.
Not this, Chris.
Not this, Chris.
You can go back. You can go back to Neighbor Chris for this.
We'll
episode
go to
if you
Neighbor
want.
Chris for this one.
I don't mind that name at all. You can keep it.
My wife thought you shouldn't. I don't know. She didn't.
I
think
called
it
you
was
Chris to my
fair.
wife, and she was like, "Who?" Because
Yeah.
I'm so used to calling you neighbor Chris.
She
but-
didn't think it was fair to call you Neighbor Chris, especially when you were kind of regular on the show and now you are on the show.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
not fair. Hey, let's just get back to
Call
Chris.
me Neighbor Chris. It sounds like I wear
You
a
guys
sweater
all
and have a
live in this
magical
neighborhood,
land.
I take it?
No,
You're
Chris
all
actually.
neighbors?
Chris
I am
does
a
live
neighbor.
across the street. Shane used to work with me at the Big Checkmark company. That was years ago, though. Huh.
That was.
Yeah.
You left there, you said 3.5 years ago.
I left there 3.5 years ago for my current company. Yeah.
And I
So-
left there probably about the same time.
All right. Well, yeah, I think you got. I don't think you left voluntarily though.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Got a nice severance package, though.
There you go. Anyway, back to the real reason why we're here. So, Chris, how would you kind of define your music? Now, I'm going to be completely forthright here. This is not my style of
Yeah.
music that I'm giving it a shot for your sake, for our friendship here. But kind of describe how would you describe your music?
Well, first I will say that you are amongst the majority when you say that
Really?
it's not your style of music.
Okay.
It's not a lot of people's style of music, and it is what it is. But it's I guess my specific genre would be considered like progressive house and melodic techno. Those are subgenres of techno music, house music. EDM is probably the most popular and well-known name for the dance music that I'm into. But EDM is like calling every. If you call it EDM, it's like calling every like song with a guitar rock music.
Okay.
There's just subgenres in it. So yeah.
How did you kind of get started into that? Like, how long you been doing it for?
Since I was I started DJing when I was about 22, 23, and I'm 43 now. So 20 years. Yeah. And I got into it basically when I was at the end of college. The substances that I was consuming were frequently available at nightclubs.
Okay.
And those substances enhanced the effect of the club music.
Yep.
And like the sounds, the lights, everything like that. And really, to be honest, like that's what really got me into the music to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, stopped doing that, stopped participating in those activities. But I still love it, and yeah, it lasted through the sobriety, if you will. So
That's kind of a good story. That's what got you in, but that's also, would you say that almost kind of like helped you get through that too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like now I've been sober, I guess, for 4.5 years, coming up on 5 years. And it's making music now and still DJing to an extent, although COVID, is.
Yeah, that kind of put a damper on that a little bit.
But the producing itself is like meditative. It like takes me out of like all the other noise that's going on in life, and it's I can kind of just focus on being creative and making sounds. So yeah, definitely has helped a lot.
You look like you had to say something, Shane.
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
Meditative is a great choice of word. That's one of the ways I would have chosen to describe your music. So you used that in terms of the process of creating it, but I noticed that you seem to have selected zero harsh sounds throughout your entire everything. You don't use them.
No, not really. And like that's the harsh sounds really are you'll hear more in like typical EDM style tracks like Skrillex, some of the harder Deadmau5 stuff, and that kind of music. Like it's just more abrasive synthesizers, and I just like stuff that. And I used to be into the harder, more aggressive sounds. But I guess as I get older, I like stuff that's a little bit more low key. But even when I was into like the more high energy stuff, I liked trance music, which is what got me into it originally. And trance is always, it's what the name describes, and it's just kind of, it's hypnotic and kind of chill in a way. So,
What? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, so, I would say it's definitely not like a low energy experience, your music. You definitely got like a driving beat underlying everything, but everything you layer on top of that seems to be much more chill.
Yeah. And that's, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because what I'm focused on now more so is like the groove to it, like the bass and the drums. So like, the point is to have DJs play my music at clubs and whatever, lounges and stuff, so people, feel energized or whatnot and want to dance, so that's encouraging to hear that that's your experience.
Nice.
Yeah, right on.
I was kind of curious on that. Like, what is like the target audience for that kind of music or that kind of producing?
It's changed a lot over the years. It's it varies. People that are my age and older that kind of grew up on it, that grew up in a similar scene like that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think back like to Rochester back in the mid 2000s, the early 2000s, this scene was like, there was like a club scene here in Rochester, and like there's not anything like that here now. There's axe throwing, so it's a little different than what it used to be. There used
Say
to
it's
be
way
like,
different, even though it's. I'm not going to say how old I was in the year 2000.
We get it. You're younger than us. Shut up.
It was, I mean, so it was like, there was after hours clubs that were open till 4, 5 in the morning. And like they were allowed to be open that late. It just was like kind of a different scene back then. So to answer your question, there's people that were involved in the scene when it really came to the U.S. and was, coming on, or in the early 2000s and late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So the people in my age group that are still into it. And then, it's still very popular and like my style of music, maybe not so much here, but in like South America, it's really big. All age groups, same with like Europe, China still, like, over in the Asian countries and Africa even. So yeah, worldwide, except for like Western New York, pretty much.
I can't see how that doesn't fit in here. So, I mean, I noticed a lot on a lot of your social media that, some of the people you're either partnering with or promoting with, things like that, seem to be some of those, foreign countries and things like that. So how do you kind of get hooked up with that type of stuff? Are you shopping? Not shopping, I guess maybe it's a bad way to put it, but are you putting your music out to some of these, different labels and things like that? Or are they seeking you out just from, word of mouth and hearing things, or how's that go?
Yep. So originally, it basically, all these relationships that I have with people from overseas started because I joined this like online community of like-minded people, producers that are into similar genre music. And, I just met them through this community, and through that community, I also was linked up with like labels and whatnot. And as my music improved, I had an avenue to submit my tracks to the contacts that were, facilitated through this community. So that's kind of where it started. But since then, I've, grown in my skills, and the quality of my stuff has improved, where I've reached out directly to labels that would like to be on, based on like the style that they kind of promote and that they typically release, based on their reach. And, some say yes, some say no, but at this point, I'm not well known in the industry, but if you look me up, if these labels look me up, they'll see that I do have other releases. So I have a little bit of clout, I guess, to be able to try to reach out and network with them.
Is it like the rest of the kind of the music industry where, you sign to one specific label, or are you kind of like on a song by song or track by track, or even do you put a group of songs together, kind of like an album type thing, where you'll sell that to like a label?
Yeah, so for the dance music industry, it's very much based on like single releases and maybe 2-track EPs versus like a full album. If you think about like the top 40 stuff, a lot of that is released on albums, although singles are becoming more common in place nowadays. And the whole music industry as a whole, I'm not an expert on it, but from what I understand, like it used to be where labels would, sign an artist and give them like a large advance to like to make an album, and then they would have to recoup their costs on, album sales and whatnot. And the tour would be to promote the album.
Yeah.
But now, and it's still like the tour to promote the album, but like music sales have pretty much went down the tube. So most of it now is like live performance and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, with the modern age where everyone's got Apple Music and Spotify and things of that nature, it's got to be, you're not selling anything really.
Exactly, yeah. So like a CD used to buy for what, $15?
Yep.
And who knows what the artist used to get, maybe 50% of that. So say they got $7 per CD sold. Well, if I have a track that's released and someone listens to it on Spotify, I make 0.7 of a cent each time it's played. So, I mean, my tracks on Spotify have under 1,000 plays, each of them. They're growing, but even if they had 1,000 plays, what's that, like $7 or something?
Yeah.
So,
Woohoo!
yeah. So
$7. You can get yourself a small combo meal at McDonald's.
Spoken like an ex-fat guy.
I mean, it's true.
You're not wrong, I guess. What's that $6 meal for the that one guy? Oh, why can't I think of it?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Doesn't every one of them have one of them, like, you get X amount of food for $6 type
I
meals,
don't know.
right?
Anyway.
This totally went off the rails.
If you haven't listened to a single episode of this show, it always comes back to food for us. It just
seems to be a thing.
We can't help it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it does.
Well, it's because I was fat. Still am a little bit fat. We're all on the heftier side, except for you. You kind of joined a weird crowd here.
Chris works out a lot.
Yeah.
I'm still heavy.
He says that with such authority.
Because he picks things up.
I'm
and puts
so
them down.
heavy.
Well, see, I'm heavy and I lift heavy, so it's working out. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not as thin as I want to be,
that's
but
your intention then.
the weights keep moving up, so I'm like, okay.
You're going in the right direction,
I'll take it.
right? Yeah. So
Are
we
you
all
hit-
have that kind of mind frame.
Are you hitting on him now? Or?
No.
Yes.
All right. It's your-
Yes. Maybe.
How's your wife feel about that? Anyway.
I don't know. Probably pretty secure. We're married. I got her thing tattooed on me. Can't think of astrological thing, whatever that's called.
Zodiac sign?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad you spent the time and money to put that on your body and you can't name it.
I know it's a Scorpio, if that's any consolation.
Nope. Nope. All right. Back to it, I guess. So, Chris, I kind of want to go back to what you were just talking about with the Spotify, where you're making like 0.7 of a penny.
Yeah.
Without naming it, you and I used to work together at the same company. Same one I still work for, which is why I go nameless on it. You left what I would consider a really good job to pursue your music career.
Yeah.
Amicable terms, from what I understand, and everything was good. But you gambled on yourself. How?
Are you winning?
I don't want to ask
I
you
think
if
that's what he's saying.
No,
Are you winning?
No, I don't want to
Yeah,
ask
ask me whatever you want,
I don't know.
seriously.
I don't want to
I'm
ask
open
if that paying off for you, but like, how does that?
I'll ask, are you winning?
How is that legit? I mean, you not a lot of people, and I admire the fact, and it was one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you throughout this time was, not a lot of people will take the chance and gamble on themselves.
Let's
And
go
be
back
able to
to go back to before
Yeah.
the how it's working out stage. Like, how do you get to the place where you make that call?
That was one of my other questions.
Okay, well,
Go
let's
ahead.
start
Yeah,
there.
go ahead.
You're
Go
fast forwarding in time.
I was going to get there. Don't worry.
You want me
He wants to
start
go
there?
chronologically.
Yeah, like all right. So what is the I guess talk track in your own head or the decision making process to say, I got this career going on over here, but I've got this passion and desire to do this. Like how do you go through that process?
Yeah. I guess I kind of got to back up to like before I was with the company that we worked together at.
Yep.
And I was with another banking institution. And I started, so I graduated with a psych degree. And it was kind of my intention to like work in the mental health field. And I realized quickly out of college that there wasn't a lot of money in that. At least not at the speed that I wanted.
Sure.
The money to come in. So I went after business, and I ended up landing a job with another banking institution that I spent 15 years with. So from 2001 through the end of 2016, I was with this company. And I worked my way up through that company from, various entry-level roles to management level roles, and eventually had like an outside sales rep job. I moved from here in Western New York to Phoenix, Arizona for a promotion, lived there for 6 years, then took another promotion to move to Chicago, and I lived there for 4 years. And then I took the final promotion that I took that moved me out to Northern California as an outside sales rep, selling commercial financing.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to what we were doing, but for like inventory financing. So I covered Northern California, Montana, Nevada, Utah.
Okay.
Was my territory. So it was an awesome job. I lived and worked from home. I lived like an hour from Tahoe. It was incredible,
That's
and
awesome.
I was making bank, relative to what I'm making now. I was making
Oh, there's money in banking?
yeah, right.
Weird.
Pun intended. I guess.
Shocking.
Yeah. So I was making, great money in company car. It was like I had it made, but the thing was I couldn't stay sober. And like I was never really like a daily drinker or anything like that, or daily user.
Yep.
But when the weekend came, like I lived for the weekend, and when the weekend came, like I was just like I binged, and
Sure.
You went 0 to 100
Exactly.
immediately.
Yeah, and it would
Friday
be-
at 5, clock out, get to work, quote unquote.
Right, yeah, and like go to sleep Sunday night kind
Wow.
of thing. So like it was hardcore,
Yeah.
like for lack of a better term. And so yeah, but I realized like that's what I
Explains the
was
music style.
living for.
He went so hard back then that he had to mellow it out now.
It's probably has something to do with it. For
I think I
sure.
just figured out the answer to my own question. I was going to ask you, I was like, okay, so Phoenix, Chicago, Northern California, Montana, that whole region there, like all those places, you just had to come back to Rochester. I was going to ask you why, but now I figured it out because we have no club scene, so you came back to dry out.
It's a big part. Yeah, a huge part of it, man. I mean,
Now
like,
you're from here, yes?
yeah, my
Okay.
family's from here, so like when I was in Northern California, I realized like that I needed to get some serious help, and I went to Florida for 6 months for rehab, and I was
Wow.
inpatient for 2 months or 45 days, and then and I had been to rehab 3 times before that, but like only did like the short time I needed to be there, and then was
Then
out.
get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have one of those rehab is for quitter shirts?
No, but I should look for maybe you could provide me one. That'd be-
I'm sure Amazon's got it somewhere.
Oh, I guarantee I can get one on Amazon right now for like $7. That's
Oh my god.
but
Way to derail it.
what I'm here for.
no, it's a valid comment for sure. But yeah, so I was there for 6 months, and I just realized during that time there, I realized that what I was doing in the banking career was just like it just wasn't working for me. At least traveling all around the country
Sure.
and like doing that. So I made this decision to resign from that job after 15 years, and I moved home. And I took off a little bit of time when I came home and like gave some consideration to, I wanted to do the music thing, but I also wasn't very disciplined at that time. My head wasn't clear yet and whatnot. So I wasn't able to get a lot done with my music. And eventually, after a few months, I'm like, I need to get back into the workforce. And that's when I got the job where we worked together.
Cool.
And like I saw it as like, all right, well, I'm clean now, I'm clear-minded, I can just like focus on my work and still be able to do the music thing. But then I realized like in working that job, which was great with like amazing people, an amazing environment. Like I can't say enough good things about it. But I just, every day I'd be driving into work feeling like there's just something wasn't right, you know? Like,
something's kind of off.
Something was just off. And I tried to like move my schedule around and like really commit to doing the music on the off hours. And, you know, I was like going to therapy and like journaling and like really just doing a lot of self-exploration to try to figure this shit out.
Sure.
Well, it was taking a toll on me. And I also was realizing that like it wasn't fair to the company. I wasn't fair to the people I was working with. My attitude was deteriorating a little bit. And I just was like, didn't care, you know? And I'm like, I had saved up some money, actually like retirement savings, but like I'm single. I don't have any kids, you know, and I was just like,
good for you.
I'm just going to give it a shot, you know, like I'm, you know, at the time I was 42. And I'm like, I got to at least try. Cause if I don't try, I'm going to like look back when
It's almost
I'm
like you're going to regret it if you don't.
I'm going to regret it. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was just like, F it. I'm just going to do it.
That's like I said, I was talking to, so I had an after work thing today. I was talking to a few people and I was telling them how you were going to be on the show today. And we were just talking about that. And I'm like, one of the things I admired, like I said, it takes balls to just let something like that go, just to follow your dreams and kind of do what you want to do. And it's something that a lot of people, I think, would love to do and just don't have it in them to do it, or, you know, can't do it, you know, financially, or, you know, family commitments or whatever it may be, but don't get to follow that dreams. And you actually took that shot to do it. So, I mean, you seem happy.
Yeah. No, and actually my family says that to me too. Because they were terrified that when I decided to do this, they're like, "Are you sure you want to do that?
You sure?
Like,
you
know,
really
like,
what you want?
Are you like drinking and using again? You know, like, but now they're like, you seem like happier than you ever have, and I am. And you know, the music thing, to answer your question, like, it's not like I'm not winning with the music thing right now. The money's not there because, you know, I can't perform or anything like that. Sure. And even if I could, like, I'm not like big enough where I'd be an in-demand act or anything like that yet. But I also, you know, one of my goals with taking this time was to like give myself the space to like think about what else is like really important to me. And I'm like, I'm going to just give myself a year and, you know, do the music, but then also like what else drives me. And through that, I've discovered that like I want to help people like realize their dreams as well. And like if they're interested in like exploring a creative side of their life and they feel like blocked or trapped, you know, and like they feel like they can't do it for any given reason, like I want to help those people and, you know, maybe help them make a change. So I actually just got certified to become a life coach.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, you know, I know it's like everyone's a life coach right now, you know, but like with my career and my experience and like, you know, my personal experience, like I think I can help people. So that's like leaving the job led me to that discovery as well, which was the point, you know, another point of it. And that could be what ends up, you know, being my focal point for making a living, you know, and then the music can be on the side. But
sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, I completely understand. I mean, that's the part of the reason I started the whole podcast thing. Is something I always wanted to do. We're clearly not making any money doing this. You know,
we're having fun though.
A couple hundred downloads an episode is, you know, there's people that do actually listen to this, and that's really the ultimate goal. And we get to do this every 2 weeks and have fun, and that's the whole goal behind, you know, what we're doing here too. So I completely understand that. And I'm obviously not making the full jump like you did. Like, this is not my career right now, but completely, like I said, I respect the decision that you made, and I think the outcome of just what you've discovered about yourself personally and the success that you had just based on what you told us so far. I think it's obviously you made the right decision. So
yeah, and really, like, I can't answer this for everyone, but I'd ask myself, like, what's the worst that can happen if I take a year off? And yeah, I spend a lot of my savings. Like, am I gonna end up like on the street? No. Like, I have these work skills that I've built over the years.
Yep.
Like, if I needed to go back out and get a job, like, I could get a job. I'm
right.
not, and like, I'm blessed to be able to say that, you know. But that was the reality. Like, I think that it's natural for people and to like the fears to become like catastrophizing, you know, where it's like the worst imaginable is like expected to happen, where
Yep.
you know that's not usually the case. But you know, I certainly understand, like, you know, some people, like, you just can't do it, and for a long time I couldn't do it because I couldn't stay clean, you know, like. Sure. So yeah,
It's interesting to me that you sobered up and then you made the call. So this was a decision you made. You know, you made it with a clear head.
yeah,
So it wasn't like, all right, I'm gonna go into music, and
yeah,
and then you decided, okay, well, I got to get my life in order. You did things in reverse, and okay, and so you
Seems
made
like-
this call knowing that, you know, you had sound judgment when you did it.
It seems like you did it the way that it should be done,
Yeah,
yeah.
not the way that most people do it, where they're
gonna follow
They're
my
on-
dreams.
I'm gonna follow my dreams. Meanwhile, they're high and drunk at the time that they say it, and then they quit their job, and then worst case scenario does happen. They do end up homeless, and then it's just a bad situation. You seem like you're doing pretty good, and I just met you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I got you fooled.
Well,
No,
fool me once,
but
shame
yeah,
on
that
me.
was definitely something that was important to me, and also, you know, like, I wanted to pay down some debt, like get myself financially in a position where I knew I had some runway, and you know, I'm running out of runway right now, but hey, it's exciting. I feel like alive, and like hell, I'm getting interviewed on podcasts, so I must. It's. I feel
Yeah, we're
like
a
I'm
big
living
deal.
an interesting life.
Did you say we're
And
a big
hey,
deal?
Yeah.
Steve Jobs started in a garage, right?
He did,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Basement's
like,
not that far off, right?
no, and this is like
We have
this
walls
is
now.
nice.
We-
Yeah,
we have
the
walls
basement
now.
is
We're
good
getting
shape.
there. Eventually, we'll have a ceiling and some flooring too, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
one step at a time here.
Jeff Bezos just started out as a Ferengi in an office with a computer, and now look at him.
Make more money in a day than we'll make in our entire
This
lifetime.
actually has ideal acoustics for a podcast.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do going forward though, because
Couch.
yeah, it's gonna end up having to be on
Couch
the
cast.
couch because I didn't space a podcast studio in here. I wanted to dedicate a podcast studio. It's just not gonna happen. So I think what we're gonna do
Was that your
is-
decision?
It was cumulative.
Oh no, it wasn't. I know how these things work.
No, so what's going to happen is probably we'll have a sectional couch in this area here, and I got some, we'll attach these things to some tables and just do it from the couch and do a little relaxing.
I think it's a nice little setup, man.
it'll be better. I also have a portable unit that we've tried out when the COVID thing first started, and we decided we were going to try to see each other in person. I got some 10-foot cables and got a portable recorder, and it was a good time. So
We got attacked by bugs. That wasn't fun.
yeah, we tried doing it from the deck in the middle of the summer, and
Oh yeah.
As soon
as
as,
soon
the sun went down,
oh, it was brutal.
Mauled.
Brutal. I think we finished up one of them in the garage, and then I spilled my alcoholic beverage, all over my daughter's Barbie Jeep. Yeah, it's good times. Had my all.
That's when you were told to go back down in the basement.
Pretty
back
much,
down where
yeah.
you belong.
Back in the basement with you.
Go back to the basement where you belong,
Got you.
sir.
Daughter at DWI.
it was only enough for a DUI. Let's calm down.
Can we get a DWI on a Barbie Jeep?
No, I'm sure you
yeah.
can.
If it's
You can get it on a
if it's got
bicycle,
wheels.
so.
Yeah.
I feel like the first thing the cop would notice is that you're driving a Barbie Jeep.
That's fair.
what seems to be the matter, officer?
Yeah, the DUI might be the least of your concerns at that point.
Sure, you got a tail light out.
Oh,
I didn't know I had them.
I have taillights. I keep telling him you should put the couch in here and then have the microphones for the podcast descend from the ceiling, like, you know, it's in a boxing
Such a
arena.
great idea.
It's such a lot of work,
Doesn't
though.
want- yeah, more work. I
a
do,
lot
I
of-
do. I do like making work for you.
This whole work.
You do enjoy making work for me, like the whole trying to record.
You don't
before
ever
we're ready
do
to
it.
record, and
That's not a big
I
deal,
just
though.
give you ideas for
Just
stuff.
start
and
at
you're
the
like,
intro
no.
and good to go.
we're not talking about that anymore. We're done with that.
Get it off. Get it off.
I got a couple more questions. So, Tenerfuse,
Yeah.
where did that name come from? How did you get it? And yeah,
Is it
really,
trademarked?
You probably should trademark it.
Good question.
He's sitting there thinking, like, wait, did I?
Yeah, yeah. I actually knew you were going to ask that question. I get asked that quite a bit. When I got out of rehab, I knew that, like,
Which time?
the last time, yes. Fair question. Yes. 2016. September 2016 is when I left Florida. But yeah, so I knew that I wanted to get back into music, and I always DJ'd under my given name previously. And there is a guitarist by the name of Chris Forsyth, and he has like chrisforsyth.com or something. And I didn't want to use my regular name anymore. I felt like it was kind of like a new phase, and I wanted something where if you typed it into Google, it would come up first. So like something unique.
Yep.
So I just
Which is hard to accomplish.
It really is.
Yeah. And so I was just kind of brainstorming, like, I don't know, my values and what I want my music to sound like, and kind of just like trying to come up with ideas. And I decided tenor, Tenor, is like a musical word. I don't even know what the hell it means.
It's a word.
It's a
Does a thing.
It's a vocal range.
Yeah.
It's like
I should know
mid-range. Pretty sure.
Yeah, because and then but tenet is a belief. So it started with like tenet, and then tenor kind of, I just thought it sounded better. Fuse is like a fusion of beliefs, because I think that like there's no right or wrong, really. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and like there's I subscribe to a lot of different beliefs and things that kind of fit with just how I feel about the world. I just wanted to, I guess in coming out of like rehab and stuff, it was very much like AA is the only way kind of thing. And then you had like, it had to be like God, or it had to be a religion or whatever. And I think that there's great things about all of that. And I wanted to just represent a fusion of beliefs and kind of communicate that, like, everybody's, it's cool, just do your thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So Tenerfuse is kind of where I arrived at.
That makes
I
sense.
think we should just take that clip and give it to the world right now,
Yeah.
because they got us all messed up.
I can certainly isolate it and put it into a thing.
We'll turn you into a movement. Tenerfuse. Calm down, everybody.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
your new tagline. We just came up with it now.
Yeah. And my music is kind of like, I kind of just, it's kind of chill in a way, like.
But I feel like you get some work done to it.
Yeah. I mean, it keep you awake.
Chris was very much listening to a lot of your stuff while when I told him we were going to talk to you this week.
I did my homework.
All
He
right.
did his homework.
Again, when I was young and dumber, not saying I'm smarter now, but dumber than I am now.
Me and Jamie working
Are
out.
you about to say that dumb people listen to techno?
No,
Carry
but
on.
I used to think about like all electronic
tell me
music
more.
in my head was techno. That was just it's all techno. Like I
Oh, yeah.
didn't understand. Like I did homework. I went and looked. Like I looked up types of electronic music, and it's just like an unbelievable number of
You
variations.
broke Google.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, okay, so I can't digest all of this. There's a ton of things going on, but I specifically wanted to find, okay, what exactly defines, because I asked Jamie, like, it's progressive house, that's how you characterize your music. Okay, well, so what are the characteristics of that? So I went looking into that a little bit and kind of what's related to it. But yeah, I had no idea. There's all kind of, what did I find? I was like glitch hop, I think was one of the ones I stumbled in.
Glitch hop.
Glitch hop, yeah. So it's
What the heck is
it's
that?
hip hop combined with music made from like machine mistakes.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back me up.
Similar to like, I mean, you've heard Skrillex. And
Yeah,
how
yeah.
It's like very much
Yep.
like choppy,
Yep.
abrasive kind of sounds.
Yeah.
Like that choppiness is considered glitch.
Okay.
And then like he's saying,
So that
hop,
with
very
rap
bass
over the
heavy.
top of it?
Well, it combined, fused, if you will, with hip hop.
That sounds awesome.
Well,
Yeah, check it
Well,
out.
now you got some
Go
Googling to do.
digging,
I
yeah.
do, for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was going to ask you, like, how do you get to your sounds? Do you sample? Do you create them?
It's like we're on the
process?
same wavelength. I was going to ask something
All
similar.
right, well, I'm going to beat you to it every time.
That's fine. I'm sure to steer the ship.
It varies. So, if you're in a DAW, digital audio workstation, which is what I work in, It looks sort of like a mixing board, and it looks sort of like a timeline that runs right to or left to right. Actually, there's 2 screens in the program that I use, Ableton. So within that, you have various channels, and you'll have a channel that's your kick drum, a channel that's your hi-hat, channel that's your snare, and then a channel that's your bass, and then your lead sounds and things like that. And like, there's a lot of layers. So usually my tracks have anywhere from 25 to 50 different individual sounds that I'm layering over the course of the span of time that the track is. But so the kick drums, I usually use samples. There's so many sample libraries out there, and I have like went out and like stolen a kick drum from a song that I like the sound of the kick drum, and then I kind of tweak it and make it sound how I want it to sound. And then like for most of my percussion and like drums, I do use samples, like sample packs that I buy or whatever that come with that might have came with the workstation that I use. But for like basses and my lead sounds, I use synthesizers 95% of the time. And the synthesizers come with like preset sounds where the sound has already been like designed by a sound designer ahead of time, and then you just load it up. And then you can tweak the parameters of that sound, like, you know, you can turn the bass up or turn the treble down or turn how long, like how clicky the front end is of it, or like how long the tail is of it, you know, like, so you adjust those parameters. So for like those sounds for basses and like leads, I'll start with presets sometimes, and then I'll tweak them to make them sound how I want them to sound and how they fit in the track. And I have started doing more like sound design from scratch, where I just take a sound of like a waveform, which will sound very abrasive to the natural ear, and like sculpt it to sound how I want it to sound. So
that's cool. It
does that
sounds
make
like a really
sense?
no, but no, it does. It's,
As long as it makes sense to you, man.
I'm just kind of picturing.
I'm trying. I knew that it like your listener probably isn't versed in, you know, attack, decay, sustain releases of a like synthetic or synthesizer envelope.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably like foreign language right there.
Synthesizer
So
envelope is definitely.
I'm trying to like explain it in a way that
so
like
you're trying to dumb it down for Shane.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, now's
He looks at
Yes.
Shane like, is it okay to
Like,
take,
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
can I say that?
is it
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
is
for
it
sure.
okay to take shots at you? I mean,
That's kind of what we do around here.
yeah. No, I'm just sitting there picturing, like, I'm looking at one wave right now as we record this, and I'm
And he's
thinking
looking
of
at
you're doing like
25.
25 of them. And I'm like sitting there going, damn, I have trouble piecing together 4 or 5 of these into an episode when I do it, and you know, lining stuff up, and you're mixing shit right together.
It's
so
so hard to conceptualize like just through speaking
yeah,
and hearing
That's-
the description.
Well, and Jamie has an extra hard time, and this is a great time to jump into this story, because I laughed
Oh,
a
boy.
lot when he told me we were having an electronic music artist on, because I sent him a song like days before that had some synthesizer in it, to which he said, ew.
That's actually a common reaction.
no, you
Yeah.
sent me. All right, let's be more specific here. It was like an 80s song.
It was,
And
it
I have
was
a very,
80s
hold on,
synth.
I am
What
very
song was it?
adverse to an 80s to 80s music.
Not a fan?
No.
I love 80s
Oh, I
music,
hate it.
man.
Oh yeah, we've
Oh,
been
I
through
hate
this. He
it
hates
so
80s
bad.
music. I love 80s music.
I'll send it to you.
I was born in 84, and I hate almost everything about the 80s.
Do you like Pink Floyd?
Eh,
Not really. They're
Yeah.
a big like influence of mine.
I'm not. I guess I don't
That
go-
makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of dreamy, like spacey
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah, I
stuff.
get that.
I hate saying this right in front of you as you're making your that type of music, but like no, it's not really my. I'm more fascinated with your process and how things work and how you do them than I am necessarily about
The
like
finished
that's not
product.
exactly my
He
style.
doesn't want to know how you made the chicken.
I don't want to listen.
No, I
to
do
your
want to know how he
music.
made the chicken. I just don't eat
You
it.
just wanna
Yeah,
eat it.
that's what I was getting to.
I get what you're saying.
No,
he
I
doesn't
get
eat
it. I get
anything,
it.
so.
I
Dude.
get it.
Why?
What? That was.
That's fair.
I got to throw something out there for your wife. She'll be nodding her head along
She's
with that
not
one.
gonna. She's
Yeah.
not gonna listen
Yeah.
to this
Hey,
nonsense.
she might.
Your wife might though. She asked me what we were doing on the podcast tonight when she left my house. So, so a couple last things. One, tell us where you can find your music, as well as where we can find you on social media. So let's get that out there.
Yeah, it's Instagram at Tenerfuse, Tenerfuse. Facebook is also just search Tenerfuse. I'm on there. Probably the easiest place for the common listener to listen is like Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music. I'm on all of that. So if you just search my artist name in any of those platforms, I'll show up.
Let's do that for him.
There's a
and-
link tree on his Instagram.
Perfect.
Yes.
So let's go to Chris's link tree, Tenerfuse. Let's also listen to his music so he gets 7/10 of that penny.
Yes.
We want to make
Damn
sure
right.
he gets lots of pennies.
Yes.
Lots of pennies.
Lots of. Bring me all the pennies.
All the pennies. He wants all of them.
You got at least a nickel from me.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
He's been all in on it, so that's awesome.
Not really. It means a lot, and like I know that, like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I get it.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but if somebody does like it, and as opposed to listening it to 7/10 of a penny, is there somewhere that people can support you more directly?
If you want to buy the tracks and own the MP3 or WAV file, you can go on Beatport.com, which is it's like where all DJs buy their digital tracks for DJing. Beatport.com and Tenerfuse, and all my tracks will show up there. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you doing this. I had a lot of fun. You were very open, very honest. I enjoyed it. What are you looking at me for?
Can I get in one final question?
Oh, by all means.
All right.
I was going to wrap that shit up, but
Are you
You do
familiar with the coffin dance meme?
oh no.
I'm not.
Oh,
no.
Am
Jay-
I missing out?
Jamie loves this thing.
Oh, it gets stuck right in my. Are we going to get any copyright issues by playing
I
this?
don't know.
Play it right into the mic.
All right, I'm working on it.
It gets stuck in your
He was,
head. It's
he was prepared
wonderful.
to ask the question.
I
not
want
for the
this.
music.
I want this done at my
All right, so
funeral.
somebody
it's
took-
pretty great.
Somebody took these guys who they're like African funeral dancers.
Okay.
So
They dance with
they-
the casket on their shoulder.
I've seen it.
Okay, so you've seen that. Have you heard the one that has the electronic song put to the background of it?
I don't
It
think
gets
so.
seriously stuck in your head.
I want to play it. Over here. Yeah, I'm fast forward a little bit here.
It's pretty great. It's
That's
like
the
it gets
EDM
stuck in
right
my
there.
head.
So-
I enjoy it.
So my question to you about this was,
I was wondering where this was going.
yeah, well, this is
You had
blown,
an end game.
This is blown up, and it drives Jamie crazy because my kids will like sing this song or hum
Your
it at him,
son
and
will
it's-
hum it at me. And then
Yeah,
it
it
gets
gets
stuck in my head for hours.
So like it's become this meme.
That's
It blew up
awesome.
for a while on the internet where it's just like the song was everywhere, and of course everyone. I looked it up. The actual name of the song. It's Astronomia is the name of the song. I couldn't tell you who the artist was, but my question was going to be to you is, the like becoming a meme. Is that like a dream or a nightmare scenario for an artist?
that's a good end question. I like that.
Becoming a meme, like having a song in it depends on what
like
the
somebody
content of
somebody
the meme
slapped
is.
your music on the back of something ridiculous, and then everyone was just clipping it and sharing it all over the world.
I don't think at this point in the game, I don't think I would hate that
I don't
because it would be exposure, and I'm not the one putting it on there, and
It's
it
like-
would get people to click on my
True. It's like
My
that
name.
saying, good press or bad press is still press.
yeah.
So.
But be careful what you wish for too. It's you never know where that it could
True.
end
Come
badly.
on a podcast where our goal is a cease and desist letter.
Oh, I've been trying to get a cease and desist. When this used to be a wrestling podcast, some 30-something episodes ago, before we switched to this format, it was like my goal to get a cease and desist letter from WWE.
Look
Just
at
'cause I wanted
me.
to play their music. I kept playing their music on my episodes of the
Uh-huh.
podcast. I'm like, if I will know if I've made it to get on their radar for a cease and desist, I've
Never
made
happened.
it. No.
No.
God, no.
So can I, before we're done,
Yeah.
can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Like some questions?
Go for it.
Cool. So how long have you been doing this podcast for?
True. Well, the
December
original,
2018.
no,
17.
2016 we
16.
started.
Holy
It's
shit.
the wrestling podcast started in December of 2016. We transitioned to Missing the Mark Radio, which is pretty much anything we won't feel like talking about. We did that 34 episodes ago. We do it every 2 weeks, so
2
it's been a
weeks.
couple years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
And
love
can
it.
you see how many listeners you get in?
So the thing about podcasting is it kind of sucks for tracking. So in order to get sponsorships, you need downloads. But most people don't download things; they stream it.
Right.
And there's no way in the podcasting world right now, anyway, which is ridiculous in 2020. There's no way to track streams. unless you can only through Spotify. You can't track it anywhere else. So in order to try to attract sponsorship, so for instance, the podcast company we go through, Libsyn, is the host. They will help you get sponsors if you want them to, but you need 20,000 downloads a month.
And where are you guys at? Just out of curiosity.
I'm at almost 25,000 total.
Okay.
So I mean, if you look at that average, it's
not quite on their radar.
Well,
it's
25,000 though. That's
it's
quite a few.
close
so.
to 200, 250 an episode is basically what we're looking at.
Okay.
So, we also haven't at this point gone proactive to try to go get sponsorship, which I probably should. But I mean, we do it to have fun.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. I mean, if 10 people listen to it and they enjoy it, and I know there's more than 10 people that do, but then we've done what we have accomplished. Or
we're
what
hoping
we
at least
wanted
10
to
of them
do.
have a good time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
So-
I've thoroughly enjoyed being here, and even before you clicked record, it was quite entertaining. as
That's
well.
pretty much how the podcasts
So-
normally are. I was trying to get it serious before we started recording with
I
you.
don't know why you would bother.
Yeah,
What's
because
the point
I'm
of
trying to be
that?
You
professional.
got to work on those editing skills. Just
No,
you
I
know,
have
like
them. I
start-
just don't. I need to work on the time to.
You have a
do the
resource here to
editing. Yeah.
probably help you.
happy to help you.
I just need the time to do it. Is the problem, and I'm not
He
paying.
could probably make you faster.
Probably. I need. There's a couple. I have self-taught editing and things like that through Audacity, and I could probably get better. So
right on.
we have fun though. We enjoy doing it. We do it every 2 weeks on Wednesday night. We come here. I've decided to stop drinking during the shows.
That's probably a good thing. He gets a little slurry at the end.
I've noticed a couple of episodes where the words started trailing at the end of it, and I'm like, I don't want to hear myself like that. Other people get to hear this. It's just not fun like that. So,
Yeah.
but no, it's fun. I like the new format. There are times where I miss the pro wrestling version of this show because
Because it had structure.
First off, it's built-in content, right? It gives you content every week to talk about. But the reason why we switched to this format was it was getting too much to keep track of, and with families and work and all that. But also the creative freedom to do whatever the hell we want. We've done everything from an episode where Chris, one of the first ones he came on, tried to convince us why soccer doesn't suck.
I'm a big soccer fan, so I agree.
Excellent.
You should listen to that episode. We've interviewed some famous people, actually. We did, one of my good friends, is
Oh,
Alex
Alex,
Tuck
yeah.
from the Vegas Golden Knights. We've
Yeah.
also interviewed documentary filmmaker Andrew Jenks. He came on the show, which was shocking. I just sent him a random tweet going, "Hey, would you do our podcast?" He's like, "Hey, email my producer." Okay. And I did, and he
Awesome.
came on. So we've done some pretty cool stuff like that. We've interviewed, who else? We had Kevin Timmerman, who's a local race car driver. He came on.
We ate kimchi.
We ate. So
We ate a lot of food.
that probably needs explanation. So a few episodes ago, we wanted to do a food episode. We like to do those every once in a while just because it's fun. So we did an episode that said, all right, well, let's all bring in something we think the other people haven't tried. Okay. Chris brought in kimchi.
Something that you like personally that
Right,
you think
yeah,
the other
sorry.
people. So it's not just like, hey, have you ever had goat tongue? It was like something the
Something
goal was
you
to bring in
really-
something that they
I
would
feel like I probably would have enjoyed the goat tongue more than the kimchi.
There was a solid 20 minutes of that episode where Shane and I were trying to avoid eating kimchi.
Which, if you don't know, is a
I haven't had it.
it's
no.
a fermented cabbage.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing,
It's
man.
Yeah, it sounds
terrible.
delicious.
Shane almost
I
threw
love
up.
it,
I
but
did.
I'm the only one. Only
Chris
one
is-
outside of Korea apparently. likes
Chris's
it.
wife is slightly picky like me to the point where he got yelled at for opening it up in the house
Yeah.
because it smelled so bad. And then one day we came home from a walk or we did something, and the girls came home from a walk, and we got sent a picture from his wife. He was out in the driveway eating kimchi because he wasn't allowed to eat it in the house.
Sitting on a cooler, just finishing off the jar outside where I wouldn't get in trouble.
So gross. I made them eat a everything bagel with peanut butter on it.
If you haven't tried it, it's
Try it.
fantastic.
I mean, I love both of those.
Yeah.
like,
Right.
But you haven't tried them together,
independently,
have you?
But I haven't tried them together.
Try them
yeah,
together.
try them together.
You'll-
It's worth it.
I will get a text from you and be like, "Thank you, it was that good." These two both enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
It was very good.
any other questions for us?
No, I just
was it? Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing, man. I
All
mean,
right.
if you guys if you love it, then
It's fun.
Everything else will take care of itself, right?
It's fun, and we haven't gotten in trouble yet. So
You're winning.
We're trying, we're trying to get in trouble.
We're
no,
trying.
we're not trying to get in trouble. Just the cease and desist, just from playing
I mean,
unauthorized
that's kind
music.
of trouble.
That's a don't do that or you're gonna be in trouble,
It's a pretty neat way to get an autograph.
right? I wanted that sent by Vince McMahon so bad.
He would frame it. It would be,
I would.
be on the wall down here immediately.
I totally would.
Can you send us a copy of this but bigger?
I need a
I'm gonna need you to blow this one up for me.
We
So-
need this like poster sized.
All right, let's just listen. We've gone way too long than we anticipated. We have some segments to go here. Chris, you want to stick around for headlines?
Yeah, I'll hang out.
All right, cool. Well, again, thanks for coming on. Tenerfuse on Instagram and Facebook, and go find your music on Spotify. Play it a bunch of times so he gets his pennies. And what was the other website where we can buy your music?
Beatport.
Beatport.
Beat, B-E-A-T, Port, P-O-R-T.
Beatport.com. And with that said, we'll be right back with this week's headlines.
I just put an E on it, pronounce it Beer Tay. It's no big deal. It actually sounds pretty cool.
All right, we are back with this week's headlines. Chris, a.k.a. Tenerfuse, has decided to join us in the ridiculousness that is this segment. Neighbor Chris, just so we can differentiate this week, you said you have oodles.
I got a bunch of articles. I don't know if we'll go through all of them. But
We should just talk about the fact that it seems like the ridiculousness that's on the internet seems to just find you.
Well,
And
I also
so-
have great friends. They're just like, look at this.
Aw, thanks.
I told him that
I
he
didn't
needs
send
to
you
introduce
squat.
me to these friends because I want to know these articles too.
Are you trying to get rid of me as a friend?
No.
Okay.
No,
All
we'll
right.
just add to the circle.
I'll invite them over. We'll have
It's
a
all
great time.
circle. All right,
So-
I guess start right in. Whatever you want to get to.
So Shane wanted me to bring this one out. Like, this isn't even an article. This is just my Google search history, which I should just figure out if there's a way I can export and go through because it's probably hilarious.
Does it just start with Pornhub.com?
Ha.
Sorry, I had to.
I'm saying, hang on, there's moose involved.
Wait a second. No, that's not. That's
I don't know what you're into.
That's
I mean,
not where the fun comes from. But yeah, so so as part of my process, I just as I encounter these things, I save the bookmarks on my phone, and then when we get to the show, I just pull up a new tab for each one of them and just bring them all up so I got them handy. But as I was doing that tonight, I opened it up, and the tab that it was there was moose fatalities per year.
Are there
my
enough?
Google.
Are there enough for that to happen?
Well, hold on. My question was, are we talking about how many moose die or how many moose kill people?
Ooh, that's a good
I would
question.
guess the latter.
I was searching up human fatalities because they can be quite aggressive and they're enormous. I don't know if you understand the size of a moose. Like the scale, like, people think of it as like a big deer, but it's much more than that.
You ever seen one?
Yeah,
In the
Yeah,
wild?
it's like a meat tank.
Yeah, I
It's-
drove through Yellowstone, and it was like the shoulders were like higher than my car, and it was crazy.
Can we go
Just-
back to the fact that you just said meat tank?
Yeah,
He's not wrong.
What?
it's a
what does that
combat
mean?
Means a
vehicle
moose.
made out of flesh.
All right,
And it has horns, kind of.
Yeah.
horns, kinda.
So
Oh,
somebody,
yeah.
Those are called
somebody-
antlers, dipshit.
Yeah, but they're horn-esque.
You're horn-esque.
It's a weird
I got
word.
nothing. The fact that you almost used a college word, I'm impressed. Good boy. All right.
So somebody had sent me an article. It was like a park service requesting that people not feed moose because then if the next human they encounter doesn't have snacks, they get aggressive. And my
so do our kids.
my comment back was, if you're close enough that a moose can tell if you have snacks or not, you've already made a lethal mistake.
You got a point there.
That's 1,000% true.
That wasn't even one of the articles for the story. Again, that was just a leftover tab.
Well worth it. I'm glad you brought that to the show.
If you're close enough where the moose can tell if you can have snacks, I just did not expect to hear that tonight.
Welcome aboard.
yeah, welcome to the show.
Train's leaving the station.
This is how this normally goes.
It's long gone.
All right, headline number 1.
Can't imagine why we only get 200 downloads a show.
Texas woman known as Jag Booty charged. Oh, sorry. I didn't even get through it. You didn't even let me finish.
You had me at Jag
You
Booty.
had me a Jag Booty. That could be the name of the episode.
It can. It has to focus on Chris, but that would have been great.
We'll save that one for another episode.
Oh, man.
Texas woman known as Jag Booty
Yep.
charged with murder
Okay.
after patient dies from illegal butt injections.
Why?
What?
I'm assuming it's a silicone injection.
Sure is.
So she can get everyone who wants the Kim Kardashian.
Is Jag Booty the doctor?
That's a
Well,
good
she's not a
question.
doctor.
Calling Dr. Jag Booty. Is she a stripper? She's gotta be a
They're
stripper.
illegal butt injections, so there was no medical license involved.
So she's got to be a stripper, right?
Was she convicted?
The doctor,
Or is
Jag
that
Booty?
too recent? Well, Jag Booty's the quote-unquote doctor, isn't she?
No, I thought Jag Booty was the stripper.
Jag Booty's the
there is
murderer.
No
Oh.
stripper in this story. What? Where have you gone?
Not to a
Let me
stripper.
give you
They're
the
all
headline.
closed.
Texas woman
At least
known
that's
as
what I
Jag
think.
Booty
Yep.
charged with murder after patient dies from illegal butt injections.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
her business card was like jagbooty.md, kinda.
I wasn't looking.
It's like MD question mark.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not a business card lady.
So
This is more of a word on the street kind of gig.
discreet Craigslist ad.
Gotcha.
Anyway, you were correct with the silicone butt injections.
Yes. At least I
which,
got something right today.
Got into the victim's bloodstream.
Yep, that
because
sounds
they were
about right.
Done wrong.
I mean, Jag Booty sounds like a reputable doctor.
You
I'm surprised that there was any damage done.
Yeah, I can't imagine how any of that went wrong.
Yeah.
So, and I can tell you from the tail end of the article here that Jag Booty was how the accused was listed in the victim's phone. So I would pull out your contacts, got to call Jag Booty.
What is What is Jag Booty's real name?
All right, hang on. I didn't memorize that.
It's probably something stupid,
That's
boring.
The victim. Pulmonary embolism was the cause of death.
Okay, sounds about right.
Pamela Burnley.
Oh, she got burned, didn't she? Going to jail now.
Well,
All right, that was bad. All right,
We'll
just
see.
get to the next one. That
right.
was I. If I
Moving
had a
right
car
along.
crash noise right now, that's where it went. Do you want to ring the
Sound
bell on me or
effects.
something?
all right.
Thank you.
We're moving away from the booty, but staying close to home.
This isn't Instagram.
Maybe he found that article on Instagram.
Maybe. Chris thinks
Security flaw.
Instagram is for butts.
Instagram is mostly for butts. So when he told me, he's like, "You got to get on Instagram," and I'm like, "Why? It's all butts." And he's like, "Well, no, there's stuff on there, and
There's other
well, sure
stuff
enough,
other than
your
butts.
music's on there."
There are things other
You
than
should
butts.
start putting butts on there. Maybe
But
you'll get more.
when I click on the when I click on the little search icon, it's like discover butts. It's like, it's all it's like you might like this. Like
You're not wrong when you do hit that search button. It's
it's all butts.
it's a lot of
It
butts.
really is.
so.
All right, well,
Anyway,
continue.
article here.
Yep.
Security flaw left smart chastity sex toy users at risk of permanent lock-in.
Can you repeat that?
Security flaw left smart chastity sex toy users at risk of permanent lock-in. So it's a smart sex toy. It's got an app.
Like connect. Yeah.
It's connected.
'Kay.
It's wireless.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's
and it would leave it permanently
But it's
attached to them.
chastity.
Yeah.
yep. So you
kind
got a device, you got a Google Home for your dingus. And they
It
had
teach me how to make pancakes.
They had a security flaw in the API, which apparently had no security on it. The flaw was it had no security whatsoever. So anybody who was looking at it, who found it, could get into it, and then could issue commands to your sex toy.
Huh. That's a pretty big security flaw.
Yeah. Alex Lomas, a researcher at Pen Test Partners, said in a blog post that an attacker could lock everyone in or out very quickly.
In what?
That's a good
Lock-
question.
Well, it's a chastity sex toy
For
so
men or women?
Men.
Oh. What if you gotta go to the bathroom?
Well, hopefully he lets you
So
out.
is it like a diaper, like with that has an app to it?
Chris, we're gonna need visuals here.
It's not, I'll show you a picture.
Please Google this so it comes up in all of
Yeah.
your advertising from now
It's-
on social media.
It's a thing that you stick your thing in to prevent you from getting or sustaining an erection.
I don't understand.
That's the thing.
Like, why? Why is that
Wow.
a thing?
But it locks
Is
on.
it called a
apparently.
cellmate? Is that what that's?
Does it have a name?
Is that what the name
Why is that a
that-
thing?
that I saw on the picture? Maybe.
Image credits. That's not giving me any detail.
No.
It's the name of the company. That's the one that created it.
I don't understand why this is a thing.
Well, it's a yeah.
Was
Like,
this also in Texas?
It's like
This has to be
it's
a Flor-
Kiwi.
this has gotta be
QI.
Florida.
I feel like this one might have
UI.
come out of Florida.
And it is called the
Florida man?
It is
Yeah.
called the cellmate. You got it. Yeah, you nailed that.
Why?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's I'm not living in this world. I'm just finding the articles. So I don't.
You keep telling yourself that.
I can't tell you
You do.
God,
you.
I would love to see your Google search history.
why. I'm telling you. I'll see if I can just print it out because it'll be a good time. I might just like give you a sheet and then you can say, "What is this?"
Is that like when you were a kid?
Please explain.
Is that like when you were a kid and you were scrolling through the guide on the TV and the name of the porn movies on there were always hilarious?
Poolside railing. That's the one that's stuck in my brain.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
Next one.
Oh no, I've gone too far down the.
Sex toy rabbit hole.
My phone is.
You could have just said rabbit hole. It would have made sense too.
It's his preference of
I've really
sex toy. I
lost-
got. Yeah.
I've lost control of my device. All right,
That's
it's
'cause
happened.
you're
It's happened to me.
searching for sex toys.
All right, from Japan.
Oh, that's always good.
All right.
Oh, hold on. This one could also involve a sex toy.
Yes. Yakuza
There's
officially
some weird
banned.
shit over there.
Yeah. So the Yakuza are officially banned from giving kids Halloween candy, according to the Japanese government.
The mobsters can't hand out candy.
The Japanese mob have been forbidden from trick or treating
Because they're so good at listening to the laws as it is, right?
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to work.
It's like a win-win situation.
They're kind of a lawful evil. The Yakuza, like, they've got rules.
So does the mafia.
Yeah,
Doesn't make them any better.
the mafia is kind of a lawful evil as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So the Yakuza is regulated, and one of the regulations is no handing out trick or treat.
Well, it's just that
I guess I didn't even know they did Halloween there.
the government says that basically if they catch them giving sweets to kids, they're gonna intervene. Just like they apparently before this was enacted, they would just kind of invite them to come into their headquarters and they'd give them treats. No more.
Okay. I really don't have
Interesting.
much to add to this one.
Me either.
Continue.
All right. Connecticut City officially renamed sewage plant after John Oliver.
This comedy's not that bad.
What could he have possibly done?
I mean, I'm not a huge John Oliver fan, but I mean, to rename a sewage plant after him?
Is it his hometown?
No.
He's not from the U.S. This was in Connecticut.
I'm just trying to think of reasons, man.
Fail.
So apparently John Oliver had somewhat just irrationally singled them out for attack on one of his shows, saying, quote, that Danbury, Connecticut can eat my whole ass.
Okay.
I
Well,
love-
the renaming makes a little more sense now.
I love watching the board peg when something stupid comes across.
So Connecticut has retaliated and
All right.
renamed a sewage plant.
I mean, again, I didn't think he was that bad, but all right.
All right. Let's see here. This one coming from the United Kingdom. Oslo police seize tuned electric scooter with top speed of 36 miles per hour.
Oh,
That just sounds awesome.
those badasses.
Like,
This one just stuck out to me because, like, you've seen our children's scooters. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine doing 35
on those tiny wheels?
on,
No.
like, two rollerblading wheels?
No. I'd have to
That's
replace
movement.
them with some rubber wheels of some sort. And
like a bike tire.
can you imagine biting it at 36 miles an hour on one of those little things?
Could you imagine butting it at 12?
No. I mean, we're all thinking. I assume we're all thinking like the Razor scooters, like
Yeah.
in our heads. Like this has to be beefed up of some sort.
I mean, the image...
Is there a picture?
There is an image, and it's not looking like much... It may be
No.
scaled up
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit.
a Razor scooter.
They definitely put better tires on
Wow.
It's a
That's all under the hood?
yeah, they just... Well, it's an electric scooter, and they apparently just took the limiter off it.
it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
How do we make this
Wow.
happen?
I
I
appreciate
expected to see like a muffler on the back.
that. It's a
It's rolling on dubs.
Yeah.
running on jet fuel.
That's actually kind of impressive.
Kinda just wanna
Terrifying,
do
but
that.
impressive.
Yeah. You try it out first, though.
All right, going back to nature here. This is from CBS Boston. We got Wareham residents asked to stop calling police for sunfish sightings. Quote, it's doing normal sunfish activities.
Who calls the police on a fish
Where are they seeing these fish?
In Broad Cove
in the water?
in Boston.
They're calling 911 on fish.
That are in their habitat?
They're in the water, yes.
Why are they calling the police on this fish?
It's a weird-looking fish.
Well, that's probably why they asked
A
them to stop.
sunfish is normal.
So
Our kids caught hundreds of them.
this
in
is not
probably
the
the
thing
same
that you
five,
call a
but-
Do they think
sunfish.
it's like radioactive?
This is that big, stupid
Oh.
Kilroy face thing that's got a shark fin on the back.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
It's a weird-looking fish, yeah.
And they thought the police were the proper
yeah, well,
avenue?
I mean, you heard our friend Florida Cop when he came on and talked about how he gets sent out for gators.
Yeah, that's true. But that's Florida.
Yeah, so we followed up our Florida Man episode with calling my buddy who's a cop in Florida just to tell some of his stories.
Oh, that has to be good.
Well worth it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I should have edited more out of that because there was a lot of F-bombs on that one, but
We just put an explicit rating and called it a day.
I did actually. I put an explicit rating. I'm like, why does this have a oh, okay, that's why it has a little label on it. I hit the explicit button. That makes sense.
I got a bunch coming out of the United Kingdom. Somebody submitted for rating a film of paint drying to protest the ratings process. They said, well, we have to pay to have our films reviewed, so we're going to make a very long film of paint drying and force them to watch it as a way of getting back at them.
That's just amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I like that vindictive nature. It's
That's just
like,
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's all right. I like where your head's at.
All right, so
Let's do a couple more.
all right, I got two more good ones. Here we go.
All right, good,
All right.
perfect.
Still staying in the United Kingdom here.
Yep.
Sandwiches in Subway too sugary to meet legal definition of being bread.
I saw that somewhere online. What country
Sugar
is this?
bread.
I think this is Ireland.
That's right. They basically considered Subway's bread sugar.
It's a pastry. And the reason it matters is because Subway is trying to get around paying their value-added tax, which happens when you like kind of make something. So if you just like slap meat on bread and hand it to somebody, that doesn't qualify for a tax. But if you make them a scone, that you're somehow transforming the
enhance the
ingredients.
product,
You
yeah.
enhance it, and you're subject to the tax. So they're saying basically, for the purposes of Ireland's tax law, Subway bread is a scone or a pastry of some kind.
I mean, can we just all agree that Subway stinks?
I mean, their bread is kind of
Literally,
weird.
too.
Huh?
Like, literally.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you go
yeah.
in the Subway.
You smell like a Subway when you
reeks.
leave.
Yeah.
For days.
disgusting.
Regardless of how many showers.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
Subway's probably not going to be sponsoring us, but
I don't like their product anyway. Screw them.
It's just one of those side effects of having, an exception.
Subway, if you want to sponsor Tenerfuse, happy to give me a shout anytime. It's cool.
Eat fresh my ass.
He might end up like John Oliver.
Somebody's
Let's,
gonna name
let's settle down.
They're going to name a sandwich after you.
Asshole.
Yeah.
I got nothing. That really was.
All right.
That was just,
It's
a
just all the brown
That
ingredients.
was just wow. That was just an unnecessary shot, and then you added to it. Continue.
All right. So we started off some chatter before the show about big data. So here's one from the world of Facebook. Nudity algorithm wrongly blocked company's onion images. Facebook admits, says adverts will be restored.
Did they think the onion was an ass?
I'm assuming they thought it was a nipple. Was it a whole onion?
It was a whole onion. Here's the picture of the censored image, which is just a pile of onions.
That doesn't make sense.
For those of you who can't see,
That's
it is-
everybody.
It is a picture. Well, except for three of us, but yeah, it's just a picture of onions, and that got picked up. I guess
As nipples.
this is a boob, according to Facebook's censoring program. So they had all of their, you think a perfectly legitimate agricultural company has all of their photos blurred out and marked mature. They're just like, please buy our products. It's like, are you over 18?
Oh, that's so bad. So bad. Was that it?
That's it. That's the
I
end of
actually
it.
have one. Did you guys see that cougar that followed the guy up the trail
No.
in Utah?
No.
For a second, I thought you were talking about an older woman.
That's just profiling, sir. That is
And then I realized what you
Shane,
were
come
talking
on.
about.
that is
Is it-
unacceptable.
Is this
and
the
that was
one where
completely
the
done
guy,
by Shane?
the guy choked it out?
No. He was like walking on a trail and he saw like some cougar cubs and had his phone out.
Yeah,
and
don't
he's
know any of the
recording
cubs.
the cougar cubs, and all of a sudden like Mama Cougar comes around the
Oh no.
the corner and
Oh,
like
she was aggressively chasing him.
follows him for 6 minutes, and he's like just backing up. You have to look it up. If you just
I'm gonna have to Google
if
it.
you Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
But like the cougar like charges at him a couple times and just
Yep.
like to try to throw
Claws out.
I am so sorry.
It'll amp you up, man. It definitely gets the adrenaline going. So
I'm gonna
I
check
don't know
that
if you
out.
saw it. So
No,
I figured I'd
let's
mention
definitely check that one out. So,
it. Yeah.
what do you think, guys? Think we did it? Think we did it? All right. So, Tenerfuse on Instagram and Facebook. You can find his music on beatport.com. Feel free to follow us on Instagram at missingthemark_. You can find us on Twitter at the same handle, and Missing the Mark Radio on Facebook. Again, if you're not Subway and want to sponsor this program,
Or if you are, hold on, Subway, we'll take
yeah,
your
yeah.
money.
Sorry, Subway.
missingthemarkradio@gmail.com.
You're totally not a scone.
Hang on at the end of the episode.
Unless
We're going to
you're an
play one of Chris's songs. Chris, what song are we going to play on here?
It's my remix of Everything Is Gray by Audio Glider.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We're out.